A little motivation for you. A little motivation for you. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Tiphani, and welcome back to Tips Tuesdays live rehashed. I'm so excited to be back this week. I was down last week, but we back, and we have special guest Pastor Kevin Riley. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hold on. Let me see if I can make this work. Okay.
Camera adjusted, y'all.
Yeah, I'm trying this from my phone, so I'm trying to see if I can. Okay. Set it somewhere where I don't have to hold on to it.
Right. Look. So welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Anybody that is tuning in for the first time, this is a spinoff from my audio podcast, Tips Tuesdays. And I bring in special guests to come in and give inspiration, motivation, and encouragement with a different perspective. You know, I might talk about a topic on my podcast, and my guests might have different perspective, different enlightenment that will inspire somebody else in a different manner. And so we are going to get started tonight. It's been a day, y'all, but I have made it through the day. As I said last week, I was down. Shout out to my backup host. My husband, he came on through. Him and Pastor Tevin was on the last episode. They held it down. And I just want to thank them for holding it down. But I'm back. I'm back. I couldn't be down too long. Still kind of getting over things, but we're here. So, y'all know how we do things. We start off with our announcements. And my announcements are as follows. My announcements are as follows. Y'all remember I have my calendars, bookmarks, journals for sale. Let me put that up there. For sale, you can get the journal for $15, the calendar for $15, a bookmark for two, or you can get all three of them for $25. Now, y'all, these journals, bookmarks, and calendars are not just any typical calendar, journal, or bookmark that you'll get. They have quotes throughout the year, quotes throughout the journals that will help to motivate you throughout the year, inspire you throughout the year. You might need a word of encouragement. It is all in these three products that I am selling for Tips Tuesdays. Now, all proceeds goes to the podcast. We want to get this inspiration out there more and more. So I'm working on my marketing and things like that. All of that helps that. So if you'd like to get any of that, just inbox me, DM me, and let me know that you want to get a calendar, journal, or a bookmark. And also, I have not forgotten last week they did the hashtag to the took over. I'm saying it the wrong way because somebody was saying it the wrong way in the comments last week. Hashtag to the takeover. And so we are tallying that up to get a winner. We will do that raffle on the next show to see who got the merch bundle for the to the takeover from last week. Also, just if you are just now tuning in and this is the first time that you've been on the show, check out the audio podcast, Tips Tuesdays. Go and follow on Spotify. And there's 81 episodes on there. So y'all can get on there, catch up on that. But follow on Spotify, follow on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and get you some good inspiration. All right. Um. All right. So, Pastor Bradley, do you have any? Do you have any announcements or anything that you have coming up?
Let me see. Hold on one quick sec.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get you
I
shared
know.
to my Facebook page, but let me see. I can't think of anything that's coming up because everything has pretty much passed for this year. But I
Uh,
will. Hold on. I'm just thinking. Oh, well, into 2024, there are a few things coming up at In His Presence Worship Ministries. I know that the third Saturday in January, I believe that's January the 20th, there is a and I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head. I can't remember the name of it. Look, but it's on January the 20th at In His Presence Worship Ministries, and it's Warring Women's Ministry, presented by Apostle Carla Runner. Um, there's more details that will be coming to that. So I'll just say, save the date, January 20th at In His Presence Worship Ministries. And
okay.
also on January the 27th is the Total Woman workshop, hosted by or presented by Created to Inspire, aka known as Pastor Barbara Owens from In His Presence Worship Ministries. She will be having the workshop, which is a follow up from the Total Woman conference that was just held last month about breakthrough. So on Saturday, January the 27th, at In His Presence Worship Ministries. Those are two dates to save: the 20th and the 27th, for sure. Those are the things I can think of off the top of my head.
27. Yeah. Okay, okay. I'm gonna have to catch some of that going on. I said next year I'm gonna be a little more present and have some presence in other places other than my home and in my church.
Yeah, yeah.
I got to get out there a little more. I got things coming up, and I'm like, I need to be, in the scene of things. So, speaking of which, I didn't shout out my music. If you like some good inspirational music, check out my music on all streaming platforms. Uh, All right, so y'all check out um any of my music really on all streaming platforms. Just put in Tiphani. I got inspiration loading. I got some R&B. I got some hip hop. I got some everything on all streaming platforms. So just tune in and stream that music. Let me know what you think about it. All that good stuff. So enough of those announcements. We are going to go ahead and get right into things. I always like to start off my podcast. What's up? What's up? I always like to start off my podcast with a quote for the night. So tonight's quote.
Hold on, can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, yes. What's up?
Can you make it public? Because actually, none of my people can see it because it's on private.
Got you, got you. I be forgetting. I don't know why it automatically does it private to the page. You talking about on my page, right?
Yes. Hmm.
I'm glad you said that because I be forgetting about it these days.
Okay,
Edit post, edit privacy. There we go. I don't know why I don't just go automatically to public.
right. Because I shared it, but if they're not friends, with you
Yes,
on my
I
page,
hate that
be-
too.
uh-huh.
Okay, so it should be updated now, so they should be able to go into it.
Okay.
All right, all right. Um, but you said you already got to share on your page.
Uh-huh.
Okay, all right, because like that's what I'm over here doing on the slide, been sharing it and everything. But I'm glad you said that. So, all right. Okay, so we're gonna get into our quote of the night, which it is: be present in all things and thankful for all things. Be present in all things and thankful for all things. And this is a quote by Miss Maya Angelou. And I always try to pick something that resonates with me. Um, be present in all things, whether it's good, whether it's bad. Find something. I always say this: find something positive out of everything. We are quick to complain about things, and we don't realize not necessarily the perception that we're giving people, but just the vibes that we're giving people because we're like somebody might come in complaining, you're just complaining right along with them, you know. Somebody might come in and complain, and you might turn that thing into a positive thing, and you might change their outlook on things. So, like, be present in all things. In other words, be careful of your surroundings. Be mindful of the things that you say, of the things that you allow other people to say around you, you know, um, and be thankful for all things. Just be thankful. You know, it could be worse. I was telling somebody today, they were saying how well, I'm not gonna use the words that they use, but how crappy of a day that they were, or no, how crappy of a week they were having. And I was like, well, you had a crappy week, but like all week I've been feeling like crap. So at least, you've been able to have a sense of feeling, whereas I've been, feeling really bad, so be thankful, So, that quote resonated with me. It's always going to resonate with me because I'm always saying to be positive no matter what. And I always say how my pastor says how you go through a thing, it determines how long you're going to be in that thing. So
Mhm.
you might as well, just suck it up, put a smile on, and go on and grit your way through sometimes. But how you go through a situation determines how long you're gonna be in that situation. And I'm finding that very true in my life. So what do you think about that quote?
And I love the quote, and it's important to be present in all things. A lot of times people want to check out and not face, but you cannot conquer what you don't confront. So if you're having any issues, you may as well confront it head on. And
Mm-hmm.
and then being thankful for all things. It just reminds me, the Word of God. Even when the Apostle Paul, when he said that he learned how to be content in every situation
Right.
that he's in. He's learned, how to abase and how to even abound. And so being content. And then, like you say, you can always find a reason to be thankful in everything. I shared with the people at church, not long ago, rather than complain about being broke after have paid all the bills, not having any money, whatever. But be thankful the bills are paid. You
That
know, Instead of complaining about the dirty dishes in the sink, be thankful that you had food on those plates to have the dirty dishes. Instead of complaining about having to pay taxes, be thankful that you had the income to pay taxes on. So, hey, there's always a reason to give thanks unto God.
yes. And this just goes right in with this week is Thanksgiving week and things like that. I didn't really pick that quote for that reason, but hey, it works. It works. But like you said, we complain about, like you said, having to pay bills. You didn't have to have money to pay bills. Somebody looking for a job right now can't get a job right now, and you have a job, and we complain about these things that people just wish they had a little bit of. I'm writing some music, and it's one of the songs that I'm writing is called "Be Happy," and it says in the song that we take for granted these things that we have, and somebody just wish they had a little bit of what you had. We complain because our house ain't big enough. Somebody wish they had a house. Somebody wish they just had a room. You know what I mean? And we just have to be thankful for the things that we have, and not take them for granted, that you could be somebody else that don't have those things, that doesn't have those things.
Right.
Yes, this will always forever be a quote that will resonate with everyone. Let's see. We're gonna go to the comments. We are a very interactive show here, so feel free to be in the comments. Join us in the conversation in the comments. Hello to everybody in the comments. All right, so we're gonna get this thing started. This is how we do things. We get the small jar and the big jar. I haven't been showing it because I got my green screen, so sometimes you can't see it. But we got the small jar,
Come on through, Jar.
right, right, and we got the big jar. And
Right.
shout out to my friend that made sure I had everything I needed for my show. She created me a small jar and a big jar. So shout out to her. Um,
Any cookies
Hello,
in the
everyone in the comments. Yes, keep them comments coming. You said what?
okay? Any cookies in the jar? Any candy in
No,
the
I
jar?
ain't no cookies in the
Or just
jar.
sweat?
No, only topics.
Okay.
And I'm actually running low on my topics in the small jar because I haven't been releasing a lot of episodes this season.
Uh-huh.
And but we still got at least 3 topics in there. Speaking of, if you have not checked out today's episode, go and listen to the episode, Tips Tuesdays. Excuse me, y'all.
Bless you.
Tips Tuesdays, all streaming platforms, wherever you listen to podcasts, or if you don't listen to podcasts and you want to start listening to podcasts, check out my inspirational one. Um, and let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the episodes. Leave a comment in these comments, and let me know what you think about the episodes. Okay. So let's start off with this small jar. Let's start off with the small jar. And it is still make it happen. Still make it happen. Now I can testify on this. Like I said, I was down last week. I was down. I wasn't on the show, but I was behind the scenes. So I was seeing everything, and doing my producer skills over here and everything. I still made it happen, no matter what life throws at you, no matter what people say about you, no matter what you might think that you didn't get right this time, you got tomorrow. Still make it happen. Don't allow excuses to get in your way. Don't allow detours to get in your way. Don't allow um, yourself to get in the way, because sometimes we'll overthink a thing and it's like it's really not even that serious. You know what I mean? And we will keep ourselves from being productive, from being successful, from just starting, because we might think of the things that we might not have, or that we can't do, or we don't have the skills for. Still make it happen. Whatever it is that you want to do in life, if you want to, I always say go and start a business. Well, what's stopping you from going and starting a business? Are you doing some research to go and see what you need to do to start this business? What is keeping you from doing that thing that you say you want to do? I always tell my son, make plans, not excuses. Make plans, not excuses. I need to get that on a t-shirt. But make plans, not excuses. Excuses is what's holding you up. You just have to start. You have to start. It's like with anything that you do. Like I started this podcast. It was an idea, but if I never just hit record on that first episode and just start, I wouldn't be almost 2 years into a podcast. Um, so whatever it is, still make it happen. There's no excuse at all. Whatever
Right.
you put your mind to, you just do it. Do it. Pray about it. Don't pray too long on it. But
I know that's
it's
right.
saying the word. Faith without works is dead. You can believe all you want to, but if you don't put no walk into the talking, guess what? You ain't going nowhere.
Right.
So still make it happen. Don't come up with all of these excuses. Don't let others be your excuse. What you got on, still make it happen.
I'm with you on still make it happen because a lot of times people wait for the perfect conditions to do something, and you have to just step out on faith and just keep going. Instead of waiting on the perfect condition, perfect those things as you walk through it, as you go through it. Now, I'm not saying don't plan, don't count up the costs and things of that nature, but a lot of people, they want things to be just perfect, just so right before they even
Mhm.
try, before they attempt to do whatever it is that they need to do. But I'm telling you, I'm a witness or I'm a testimony that hey, if you just move forward out of obedience, when God tell you to do a thing, when He shows you a thing, you just start walking and trusting Him. He will look. He will unfold. He will reveal. He will give you what you need, which He's already given you what you need. You just need to just believe that you already have it and just go forth, by faith. Like you said, faith without works is dead. People can sit and they can talk about a dream all day long, but if you don't do anything to execute a plan or to
Mhm. Mhm.
bring it into fruition, it's just going to remain a dream.
Exactly. Exactly. You said whatever you need, and I've said this in past episodes. Whatever you need is already inside of you.
Hmm.
You just got to utilize whatever it is. And a lot of times a person will end up just sitting when they're
Hmm.
supposed to be moving, and you miss it. You
Hmm.
know, whenever it's in your spirit to do it, it's like, okay, like you said, pray on it, make a plan. All of that's good. Even if you start and you get to a stagnant part, I always say reevaluate the situation, revamp. Sometimes you gonna have a BCDEFG because sometimes you gotta tweak some things. Maybe it didn't
Right.
go exactly the way that you were planning to. Maybe you didn't see within your planning, oh, this might happen and this might happen. So sometimes you have to reevaluate and revamp your plans, but don't let that stop you
Yeah.
from still making it happen.
Because that this kind of reminds me of the Tyler Perry documentary my wife and I
Mm,
we watched last night, and how he just kept going. He kept moving. He had a dream, he had a vision, and regardless of the circumstances and even the disappointments and everything that surrounded him, he he remained faithful to what he knew that
mm,
he wanted to do, desired to do, what was in him to do. And yeah, if we and what I like about it is most of us have actually been able to follow him from the very beginning. I
mm,
remember years back when he was just doing the stage plays, and
mm,
to where he is now. And had he given up just because people that didn't show up, at the first few plays, where would he be? He believed in his dream, his vision, what God had placed in him, and he kept it moving. And even you could see how things evolved and got better and better as he kept going. And that's what I mean by, a lot of times people just they want to have everything right now before they even step out to even start. But he started with what he had, and as he kept going, things kept, it just grew, and
Mhm.
yeah, and it comes into perfection as you just keep
I,
moving.
I also have another episode I remember in my first season. Perception of perfection. And a lot of people, they don't start because they have this perception of perfection. It's
Hmm.
like everything's not going to be lined up in the first part of, in the first phase of things. You know,
Right.
you're gonna be trying to figure it out, but at the same time, you can't let your idea of perfection, of what it's supposed to look like, to
Hmm.
stop you from starting. You have
Yeah.
to start. You have to have a plan, but know that that plan can be revised. You know,
Yeah.
and it might be better when you start revising it, because you, like you
Right.
said, you never know going into the thing everything that you're gonna run into. You know,
Hmm.
I mean, just with this show, like I've learned not to um trip over the trivial things, because I wanted to look a certain way and I wanted to go a certain way. Like I don't know, well, I'm not even gonna say what it is, but it'll be certain things here on the show that I wanted to look a certain way. And with technology, you could run into any kind of errors or anything with technology. And it's
Oh,
like, you know what? I'm not about to spend 15 minutes trying to figure this out. I'm just gonna do it a different way. And people probably won't even notice. Only I notice because I want it a certain way, but I'm
right.
not gonna allow that to stop me from doing whatever it is in that moment. So still make it happen, whatever it is, still make it happen. So all right, that's the first topic. Look, we warming up, we warming up.
Right.
All right, this can only be one of two things, because like I said, it's only two more things in the jar. Let's see. Next topic. Oh, I like this one. Be real with yourself. Be real with yourself. I am not necessarily dealing with this topic, but I feel that being real with yourself, it eliminates a lot of what's the words that I want to use? It eliminates a lot of actions that we take. When you can be real with yourself, health wise, spiritually, physically, um, mentally. A lot of times we don't talk about things that may offend people. We don't do things because of other people's feelings, or just because you don't want to face whatever it is yourself. For example, health wise, um, I can say me personally. Um, to be real with myself, I have to know that, the factors when it comes to family. This is on my mother's side. This is on my father's side. So I probably shouldn't just go through life blindly, as if diabetes doesn't run in family, high blood pressure doesn't run in family. I don't think high cholesterol, but maybe it does. I don't know. But I have to be real with myself that that's a possibility that that can pop up in life. You know what I mean? And I
Hmm.
have to take those precautions. And like I said, not just living all wild, like it can't pop up. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because a lot of people, they'll they'll go through life, and then the doctor will tell them, "Hey, you got this," and it's like, "Well, I don't know where that came from." And it's like, but you do. Like, you just don't want to be real with yourself that there was a possibility that that could be something that you have to deal with. Um, be real with yourself. Be real with yourself when you make these unrealistic goals. You make unrealistic goals, and you know when you okay. New Year's about to come up, y'all. It's about to be 2024, and you know everybody gonna be on Facebook talking about what they year they New Year goals are. Now you be real with yourself. Are you really going to attempt to reach those goals? You know, be real with yourself. Make realistic, make obtainable goals. Um, spiritually, you say that you want to be a better person, but what are you doing in order to be this better person? What or if you are saying that you want to have a better relationship with God and things like that, and I'm gonna say out your mind, but say you want to have a better relationship with God, but you can't even pray a simple prayer every day. You know, be real with yourself. The things that you are wanting, are you being realistic about these things about yourself? That's what I got on be real with yourself. What you got on be real with yourself?
Being real with yourself. Actually, what hits me is that being actually twofold. Being real with yourself in that knowing who you are in Christ Jesus, who uh, God created you to be, the plan and purpose He has for your life. Be real about that. Understand that about your life. And then the second part of being real with yourself is knowing where you are now. Be real with yourself. And so if you can be real with yourself as far as where you are now, and then it will help you to get to where you can be real with yourself, as in the reality of who God has created you to be.
Mm-hmm.
It's ironic that you mentioned the first part about it, as far as acknowledging things that could run in your family. Actually, that's one that I spoke on that Sunday, concerning health, because a lot of times we can be so super spiritual that we bypass or we want to overlook things that run through, our family. Because I've heard people say, they get kind of offended when the doctor says, "Well, did your mom have this? Did your dad have that?" And they like their response is, "Well, they had it, but I don't have it, or whatever." It's
Mm-hmm.
out here. No, I share with the body, like the word says. When God created everything, He created every seed to produce after its own kind. So
Mm-hmm.
then, when the falls happened, the fall of man's sin entered in the world, and then now our bodies are now subject to just the deterioration that happens through life. And now that we are the offspring of our parents, grandparents, and all that, being the offspring, that means we're carriers of whatever they had physically in their bodies. And so it's important to be aware of, what you could potentially carry. Like you say, the diabetes and the high blood pressure, it runs in, my family. Now,
Mm-hmm.
yes, I know that the word of God says that I'm healed, by Jesus' stripes, I'm healed. But at the same time, these are physical factors that must be acknowledged. I need to know what's going on in me so that I can lay it before God in prayer, for healing, that He maintains, that He sustains me through these things. And also, I'm thankful, for medical advances, which is really just the knowledge of God manifested. And so,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times, again, that's another um, uh, thing about faith without works is dead. Sometimes we our bodies need help to restore. And again,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a slap against your faith, but it just it's something, it's something that helps your body to do what it needs to do. And but where it goes against your faith is if you put your faith in the medicine and not in God. And that's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of part of on the spiritual thing, is that God just don't want us to put things before Him. Don't never put creation before the Creator. Never put your faith in the herbs, the plants, and all that. Yes, it's there because of God, but don't be, "Ooh, this is what healed me." No, always
Mhm.
acknowledge God as the source of the healing. Yes, He placed it in those things, but but I see people acknowledge it in such a way that now they're bowing down to Mother Earth and all that kind of stuff, and
Mhm.
not acknowledging God. But
Yeah.
going back and I know we got to keep moving, but being real with yourself is like I said, be real with yourself as far as who God has destined you to be, and then be real with yourself as far as where you are now, so that you can work toward being getting to where you need to be. Because getting to where you need to be means evaluating my now, so that I can do the things necessary to get me to my next.
Yes. 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 I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. They with you in the comments too.
Praise the Lord, saints.
Shout out to my stepmom and my dad online. And everybody else holding yourself accountable. Somebody said holding yourself accountable. Yes, holding yourself accountable. Um, like I said, with the realistic goals and things, I always go to the example of exercise, which I haven't exercised in the last 2 weeks. But have you an accountability partner? Like I said at the beginning, don't just talk about it, be about it. Tell somebody else, because a lot of times we don't say these things out loud because we figure if we say it to somebody, oh, now it's real and now I have to do it. Now I have accountability to it. So some people just don't say things out
Hmm.
loud for that reason. They don't want to be accountable.
Right.
I'm glad somebody said they're holding yourself accountable. Yes. My grandma said, press in, press in.
I know
Okay,
that's right.
okay. Yes, but y'all be real with yourself and the things that you may be dealing with in life. Like I said, it might be health issues or things like that. Like we're not getting younger. That I'm not in
Right.
denial about that. We are not getting younger, and like I said, whatever issues you might be dealing with on your mother's side or your father's side, you can get ahead of those things.
Right.
Just because mama had diabetes and such had diabetes and such had diabetes, don't mean that you have to.
Right.
You can get out on it, and then even if I know me personally, like I'm technically diabetic, um, but I can change things. I can do things differently and get on top of things. So just be real with yourself in those things. Um, yeah, be real with yourself. Well, let's see what they got in the comments. We got a lot of people on here tonight. Shout out to everybody in the comments.
Thanks for joining us, y'all.
Yes. We don't have to stay where we are. Oh, I think your wife is on here now. We don't have to stay where we are. It's our choice. You are so right. It is your choice. Because like I said, just because it's in your family don't mean that it has to be something that has to have victory in your life.
Right.
You can change how it's gonna. You can break the chains. You can break the curses of
Yeah.
the things that are normal in your family that are things just passed down and passed down and passed down. You
Right.
can be the change for your family
Yep.
for
Take
sure.
the Just take authority over it. Acknowledge
Yes,
it and take authority over it. Because one thing is that denial does not mean healed.
yes, yes. And like you said before, as far as like but some people they'll get a diagnosis, and I don't know if you've ever. Well, I know you probably have met people like this that are just like in denial And they're just like, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus, but then they don't do anything about it. You
Right.
know, take 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 advantage of the doctor's knowledge. Take advantage of the health knowledge that's out there and apply it. Like I said, faith without works is dead. Yes, you can believe, 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 but if you don't do anything about it and continue to do the things that bring those things on, what are you
Right.
doing? You have to be knowledge. Somebody said, who on here? Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power.
Right.
God put us on this earth, and He also gave us brains. Use those brains sometimes, and depend on other people's brains, because you might not know it, but somebody else might know it. You know.
Right. And
So
it kind of takes me back to that quote that you had about, being present, because even with sicknesses and illnesses, I know sometimes people look at me like I'm crazy with some of the things that I say. But when I said no, people say, I'm not gonna claim it, I'm not gonna claim it. Look, I say claim it. And what I mean by claim it is, I don't mean you have to receive it into your spirit, but claim it so you can take authority over it, because Jesus gave us authority over it. But if you
yeah.
don't claim it, that means you're forfeiting the authority that you can have over the thing. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
just because, again, just because you deny it doesn't mean that it's not there. If the court send you a document or a subpoena, you leaving it in the mailbox does not mean that there's not a consequence that's going to happen. You better go to that mailbox, get that thing, and take authority. Face it head on. Be present, like you said. That quote. You got to be,
Yeah.
be present. And
In
so,
all
when I-
things.
yeah. So when it comes to even illnesses, afflictions, even your trials and things like that, you can't like just check out like it's not there. Be
Right.
present in it. When you're present, then the presence of God that's in you helps you to take authority over what it is. So if it's a sickness, if it's a diagnosis, then go ahead. Look, I don't have to receive it into my spirit, but I'm gonna receive it um, in such a way that I can take authority over it. I'll
Yeah.
receive it into my head so that I can now take it to God in prayer. I can begin to declare the scripture over it. I can declare what the word says over it, but not
Mm.
only declare the word over it. Now I can take necessary actions to combat
Mhm.
whatever it is.
And
Again, the faith
overcome it.
work. Yeah.
Yes.
If
Yes.
I, I can't lose the pounds if I'm not if I don't go to the gym, or if I don't do
Put
something
in
about
work.
it. I can't just sit back and say, "Ooh, Lord gonna bless me to lose weight.
Right.
Lord gonna bless me to lose weight," but I'm just sitting and doing that. I gotta do.
Right.
I have to take authority.
Yes, you have to take authority. You have to take some self discipline, some consistency. All of that. I always say that every time. Like I can sit up here and act like I can just eat any and everything that I want to, and
Hmm.
it ain't gonna catch up with me. Whether it's me gaining weight or me having health issues later on down the
Right.
road. You know,
Hmm.
so you have to be accountable. You know, take uh your authority over that situation back.
Hmm.
And like they said in the comments, knowledge is power. It's power. I mean, because you can sit around and not know that you have something or know that you need to do something differently, but until you know that, then you're not doing anything to overcome whatever that is.
Right. Because what just dropped in my spirit too, even about that with Jesus, he faced death in order to take authority over death.
Hmm.
I mean,
Okay.
that's so soak in. He faced death so that he could take
Hmm.
authority over death. He didn't sit back and you know, I'm not claiming this. I'm not fixing to go through this, but
Right.
he took it head on.
Hmm.
He allowed death to come his way so
Yeah.
that he could show death who was in charge.
Hmm.
So when we face these things head on, then it allows us the opportunity to show that, look, I have power over you. You don't have power over me. But
Right.
as long as we deny it and run from it, look, it'll pop up at the most inopportune time, and
Uh-huh.
it will show out on you. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want that
Yep.
showing out on me. I'm gonna show out on
I know that's right. Look, let's see. They showing out in the comments. Let's see. Denial doesn't mean healed. Okay. Wow, just the word. Just, wow, just about word for word what you spoke on, Apostle. Be real is right. Yes. Oh, and that was my big jar over here falling.
you.
As we get into the big jar, look, it's
Uh
trying to figure out some of the topics.
the big jar. The big jar gonna
Yeah,
pull it
we're
all
getting
out
into
of
the big jar, y'all. This is good, and you know what? The time is moving fast too. I'm say time flies when you're having fun. All
you.
right, so the so the big jar is out. So you just gonna take this topic and run with it, okay?
Uh-oh.
All right, so just keep going.
Oh yes, Lord. I like
Yeah.
that. Big jar knew what knew just the big jar knew just what to give me.
Yes.
Story of my life, just keep going.
Yes.
I'm telling you, no matter what trials you face, no matter what opposition you face, you have to keep going. I'm reminded of, I know a lot of people, maybe this generation is not familiar with the movie Roots, but the movie Roots, one thing that really resonated in my spirit was as each generation was going, uh, they were told, just keep moving forward, keep moving forward. And so, in order to accomplish anything, you have to keep going. We can't be governed by fear. We can't be governed by other people's opinions. We can't be governed by emotions. Again, it just all goes back to the authority that we have over our own lives. God has given us so much, everything. As it pertains to life and godliness, as it pertains to living this life, it's already in us. And all we have to do is trust God and keep moving forward toward, whatever the goal may be. And the best thing that we could ever do for ourselves is to be delivered from people's opinions and their thoughts. Now, yes, we care what people say. We do care, but we need to learn what voices to listen to and what
Mhm.
voices to shut down. We need to be able to recognize the voice of God versus the voice of the enemy, because uh, depending on who's in your life. Some people may allow the enemy, and they don't even know that the enemy is using you to try to speak negativity and doubt into your life.
Mhm.
Um, I'm reminded of Job, when Satan's his ultimate plan or ultimate goal was to get Job to basically curse God, right? To
Right.
to deny God, to turn his back on God. And so,
Mhm.
through a series of trials that got Job into a vulnerable position, then his wife came to him and said, "What?" She said, "Why don't you just curse God and die?" See, yeah, it was his wife, yes, there, but it wasn't really his wife. That was the voice of
Right.
the enemy working through
Mhm.
his wife. And so we need to be able to know when the enemy is speaking through somebody else. It could be the person that's closest to you, the person that even loves you dearly, that never means you any harm, can still be used by the enemy to speak something on behalf of the enemy. So we have to learn how to discern the voice of God versus the
Mhm.
voice of the enemy, and um, just trust God and keep moving, keep going, just keep going, because I'm telling you, as we keep going, God will continue. The steps of a good man are ordered by who? They are ordered by the Lord. And
Mhm.
so if you trust God and acknowledge him in all of your ways, he
Mhm.
will direct our path. Look, he will order our steps, and he will get us to that place where we need to be, where we desire to be, and where he desires us to be. Because I'm telling you, he knows the plans that he has for us, and the thoughts that he has for us, they are of good and not of evil, and there's an expected end. So God has an expectation on our lives, and once we realize that God has an expectation on our lives, that should give us the courage and the confidence to keep going, knowing that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are the
Hmm.
called according to his purpose. So just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep going, y'all. Keep going. Like I said, whatever it is, don't stop. Don't make excuses.
No
Keep
excuse.
going. Yeah.
No excuses. Even because I'm telling you, what's one of the old sayings? Say nothing beat a failure but a try. I'm telling you, you just have to try. And hey, if you stumble and fall, get back up and try again. Dust
Hmm.
yourself off. Sometimes you might have to retweak the plan. And another thing too is a lot of times when people get to moving forward and then they come up on a problem, a lot of times they question themselves and say, I must have missed God. Oh, the devil is a liar. Just because you encounter some type of trial, some type of tribulation, it does not mean that you missed God, because every time you go forward, the enemy is always he's gonna try to stop something. He's always gonna try to throw a monkey wrench in the plan, but
Hmm.
nothing can stop the plan of God if we just realize that. Don't get weary in well doing, for we will reap if we don't faint. But you have to keep going and understand that trouble's gonna come, trials are gonna come, but God is with us through it all. So
Hmm.
let it be
Yes.
back.
Yeah. There you go. Look, you got it. You got it. Somebody say, Amen. Yes, Lord. My husband said, just keep moving. Just keep moving. And we're gonna do one more. We're gonna do one more, just because it's still with the theme of what we're already talking about, anyways. And it is stick with it. Stick with it.
Yep, like you said, that goes right along with the keep going.
Everything that we done talked about tonight, stick with it. You still
Yeah,
make it happen. All of that. Just keep going.
yeah.
Stick
It's important to stick with it, um, because faith, repetition, keep
Uh-huh.
doing it. A lot of times people want to switch gears and have a change of plan just because things don't look like it's producing what they want to produce right in that moment. But I'm telling you, if you just stick with it, you'll eventually see the fruit. Again, it goes back
Mhm.
to like I was sharing about with Tyler Perry. Good thing that he stuck with it. Good
Yeah.
thing that he didn't get discouraged just because it was a handful of people that showed up at his first stage play, and still just a handful of people at his next one. And he almost got to the point to where, man, nothing is happening, but he kept on. He stuck with it until boom, you see where he is now
Right.
versus where how he started. And the one thing, one of the quotes, we hear sometimes say it's not how you start, but how you finish it.
Hmm.
So a lot of people, they never finish because they never stick with it. You how can anything grow if you keep uprooting it before it can take root?
Mm.
People want to dig up and move over here, dig up and move over there just because it's not happening as fast as we want it to happen. But I'm telling you, it takes patience. It takes perseverance. It takes having that push, that drive, and that motivation. And yes, sometimes again, it may take you having to tweak some things. Seek wise counsel, seek some advice, seek some people who may have went through it and find out what they did. You may not do it exactly the way they did it, but they can give you some insight to
Mhm.
help motivate and encourage you to move forward with what you're doing. Because I guarantee you that just about every successful person that you see out there, it didn't come just as an overnight thing. Because overnight usually it's fleeting. It leaves just as quick as it came. But
Mhm.
for those that are still standing, it took time, it took
Mhm.
patience, and it took just really just cultivating that thing so that it could bear the fruit that it needed to bear.
Yes, yes. And like you said, to stick with it, um, just always use the example of me starting this podcast. Starting off in my this is season 4 of the live rehash, and then I'm in season 2, 81 episodes into the audio podcast. But if I were to look at the numbers and let that discourage me, and I wouldn't have stuck with it. You know what I mean? But just knowing the lives that can possibly be touched just through this show and through the podcast, I kept
Mhm.
with it. I could have just been like, I only got one play today. I'm not gonna do another episode next week. But you got to stick with it. Yes, you might be in smaller numbers now, but who knows? In years from now, it'd be thousands and millions of plays and listens, and you know. But I believe that I'm a very strong person, and I'm just like, if I can just touch one person, if I can
Yeah.
just inspire one person, if I just get that one message that was like, you changed my mind on some things. You gave me different perspective on some things. You inspired, you motivated, you encouraged me. That's all I need. That's all I need. And if people had that mentality to just keep going no matter what, you some things that happen, you know. Some big things will happen. So whatever it is, stick with it. Don't let how your perception of that perfection, that idea, when we're back at that, don't let your perception of what you think it's supposed to look like stop you from going where you set out to go. So stick with it, whatever it is. Whatever it is.
Amen.
Yes, yes. So believe it or not, we're at the end of the show, y'all.
We made it.
We are at the end of the show. If you have any words, extra words of encouragement or anything that you would like to say to anybody or say to those who are watching the show.
I would just basically just a recap of everything that's already been said. Be present. Be present. Face everything head on. Take authority over everything that comes your way, and stick with it. Just stick with it. Keep going. Don't allow anything to stop you from achieving that what God has already placed in you. The only thing or the only one that can stop you is you. So stick with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hey, can I shout out? I want to shout out my In His Presence Worship Ministry
Yes, you
bishop
can. I see them
that
in here.
joined us today. Amen. Thank y'all
Yes.
for joining in. And then I want to shout out your own bishop, my good friend, Bishop Barry Macon,
Yes.
Lady Karen
Yes.
Macon, such awesome people of God. You have excellent pastors. I love them. I love your church family, Restoration House of Praise. Um,
Yes.
awesome people.
We'll be seeing more of each other in 2024. I promise you that.
All
Look.
right. Looking
Somebody
forward
said in the comments already, yeah, we at the end of the show now. Yep. That hour went by fast.
Yep.
But yeah, so y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight. Again, if you would like to get any of my merchandise, calendar, journal, bookmarks, please get with me. You can get all three for $25. You can get a journal. You can get a calendar, whatever you need, because you might not need all three. But like I said, they are filled with quotes, inspirational quotes that will help you get you through your day, the year, the month. Because we all need some encouragement every now and then, if not all the time. I know I be needing it every day. So I get it in how I can get it in. And the way that I can give to you is through this podcast. So if you haven't tuned into the podcast, if you would like an inspirational podcast to follow Tips Tuesday. Also, if you would like to financially give to the podcast, you can do so at Tips Tuesdays. The Cash App is right there on your screen. Or you can contact me at Tips Tuesdays at Gmail if you would like to financially give to the podcast. You might want to give something once a month. You might want to give something every 3 months. Whatever it is, it's just something that goes toward the podcast, getting it out there to people more and more every day. So, if you would like to give, it is right there on the screen. And I'm not gonna hold y'all much longer. And we are gonna get right on out of here. Remember, we will be here same time next week. We have special guests. I don't know the name off top right now, but y'all tuning in same time, 9 p.m. Central Time, YouTube and Facebook. And if you enjoyed this show tonight and you haven't shared already, go ahead and share this link to the show with somebody else who you know needs some inspiration, motivation, and encouragement. Tell them about Tips Tuesdays. We got a good thing going on here. So yeah, let's share it. And I will see y'all next week. Y'all have a great rest of your week. Have a safe Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. Don't eat too much, or if you know you're gonna eat too much, go on and start making them to go plates. You know what I mean? But y'all have a safe Thanksgiving, and we will see y'all same time next week. All right. A little motivation.